Members of Hell's Angels reacting to their life sentences. Adam Lee Hall. Adam Lee Hall, a member of the Hell's Angels, was charged, along with 2 others, with the abduction, murder, and dismemberment of David Glasser, Edward Frampton, and Robert Chadwell in August 2011. The incident took place in Pittsfield, where the 3 victims were tragically killed. The prosecution has alleged that Adam Lee Hall, along with his co-defendants, Vayovis Hall and David Chaliu, were responsible for this horrific crime. During the court proceedings, Rose Dawson provided testimony stating that when she arrived at Adam Lee Hall's residence on the morning of August 28th, she discovered Caius Vayovis asleep on a sofa in the living room, unaware that the 3 men had already committed the triple murder. Another witness, David Casey, who was accused of being an accessory to the murders, recounted the gruesome details of the killings that Adam Lee Hall, a prominent member of the local Hells Angels chapter, had shared with him. Casey testified that he had never met Vayovis before, and Hall and Vayovis had previously been found guilty of the murders, kidnappings, and witness intimidation. They are currently serving life sentences without the possibility of release, as the victims had disappeared weeks before they were scheduled to testify against them. 10 days later, remains belonging to the victims were discovered, revealing the extent of the heinous crimes committed. Beckett Casey, a witness, testified that Adam Lee Hall had visited him on August 28th and confessed to killing Glasser. Casey described how Hall had attempted to shoot Glasser's head while holding a gun, but it failed to fire. According to Casey, one of the men took pleasure in torturing and dismembering the victims. Hall assured Casey that his sister and her boyfriend would be safe, and Casey assisted in burying the remains by digging a hole and placing the bags containing the victims' corpses. Casey proceeded to carefully place the bags containing the victims' remains into the hole, covering them with dirt and rocks. In court, Adam Lee Hall displayed no visible reaction as he received 5 consecutive life sentences. The charges against him included 227 counts, with one specifically charging him with kidnapping. The evidence presented clearly indicated his guilt. The metaphorical Lady of Justice, representing the impartiality of the legal system, unequivocally affirmed the guilty verdict. Joseph Lancia. Joseph Lancia, the leader of the Hells Angels chapter in Rhode Island, has been sentenced to 5 years at the adult correctional institutions after pleading guilty to several felonies. The motorcycle gang's activities have drawn attention to the ACI. Lancia's sentencing took place this morning, and Trucker 12 investigator Tim White was present to provide exclusive details. On June 12, 2019, Lancia discharged an illegal firearm at a passing vehicle near the Hells Angels clubhouse in Providence. During a heated argument between the victim, who had previously sought membership in the Hells Angels chapter in Rhode Island, and the defendants, the accused individual retrieved a semi-automatic weapon from his pocket and discharged a single shot towards the victim's mock semi-truck, which was passing by the clubhouse. Subsequently, the defendant entered the clubhouse while the victim drove away. Following the incident, a digital video recorder containing footage of the shooting was removed from the club. Another individual associated with the Rhode Island Hells Angels was also implicated and faced charges of felony obstruction of justice for concealing the crime. Joseph Lancia, specifically, was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon and unlawful possession of a firearm. Attorney General Peter F. Noronha highlighted the significant danger posed by the defendant, emphasizing his intent to render the victim unconscious. The defendant's involvement with a group known for engaging in criminal activities within Rhode Island raised concerns about the safety of the community. Alongside the 2019 shooting incident, Lancia faced additional charges related to assaults during a brawl at a Providence strip club involving Hells Angels on February 29, 2020. During the altercation, the defendant punched a man, causing him to lose consciousness. Prompt action by the Providence Police Department led to the defendant's immediate arrest. Lancia was sentenced to 15 years, with 5 years to be served at the ACI and the remaining time suspended with probation. A no-contact order was issued to protect Lancia's victims, and he was also required to pay $3,650 in reparations. Despite the severity of the crimes, any remorse from Lancia was not evident. Cases of this nature hold high priority within the Attorney General's office. Jonathan Nelson. Jonathan Nelson, also known as John, has been found guilty of murder and aid of racketeering as a member of the Sonoma County charter of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. The trial, overseen by Judge Edward M. Chen, lasted 9 weeks and resulted in convictions for Nelson, Brian Wayne Went Rusty, and Russell Taylor Utt. The criminal enterprise they were involved in encompassed a range of violent crimes such as murder, assault, robbery, witness intimidation, and extortion. U.S. Attorney Stephanie M. Hines highlighted the extensive investigation that led to these verdicts, sending a strong message against similar criminal activities. The collaboration of agencies like the California Highway Patrol and Santa Rosa Police Department played a crucial role in achieving this successful outcome. The trial primarily centered around the murder of Joel Silva, a former member of the Hells Angels Sonoma County chapter. The prosecution argued that Jonathan Nelson, as the leader of the chapter, along with Brian Wayne Went and Russell Taylor Up, orchestrated Silva's killing due to issues he was causing for the Hells Angels Sonoma County. Nelson devised a plan to have Silva killed in Fresno, and Oat, who had connections with Silva's family, transported him to the Fresno Hells Angels clubhouse, where Went shot him in the head. Following the murder, Silva's body was burned. The trial also presented evidence demonstrating the involvement of HASC in witness intimidation, extortion, drug trafficking, and robbery. Witnesses testified that HASC had a reputation for threatening anyone who reported their activities to the authorities. Moreover, evidence revealed that the defendants went to great lengths to threaten the lives of witnesses and their families in order to discourage cooperation with law enforcement. The verdict delivered a resounding victory, as all three defendants were found guilty of participating in a conspiracy linked to racketeer, influence corrupt organizations. Additionally, they were convicted of conspiring to commit murder in furtherance of racketeering. Jonathan Nelson, in particular, was also found guilty of using or possessing a firearm in connection with a violent offense and assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering. As a consequence, the three Hells Angels members received mandatory life sentences along with orders to pay restitution fines and forfeitures. Remarkably, the defendants remained impassive, showing no visible reaction even as their fates were pronounced. This highlights the gravity of the crimes committed by Nelson and his associates. Maurice Boucher. In the spotlight is Maurice Boucher, the infamous president of the Quebec chapter of the Hells Angels. Boucher gained notoriety as a notorious drug dealer and murderer, leaving his gang in a violent conflict known as the Quebec Biker War from 1994 to 2002. His involvement in criminal activities escalated when he was convicted in 2002 for ordering the killings of two correctional officers, aiming to undermine the Quebec court system. Maurice Boucher, the former president of the Hells Angels Quebec chapter, was sentenced to 3 life terms and confined to St. Anne, Canada's Supermax prison. Despite his incarceration, Boucher maintained ties to organized crime and continued to orchestrate murders. He became a notorious figure in Quebec. But it is important to remember the innocent victims who suffered during the Biker War. In May 2002, Boucher was ultimately found guilty of the killings. The conviction was made possible by the testimony of a police informant known as Goda's Old Shoe, who directly participated in both murders. Throughout the trial, Crown Attorney Franz Carbonneau faced frequent death threats. The case of Maurice Boucher serves as a reminder of the profound impact of organized crime and the importance of pursuing justice for the innocent victims caught in its crossfire. Boucher had given the go-ahead to Goda's Old Shoe to carry out the murders, and the informant later received Boucher's gratitude for his actions. Sadly, Shane, the informant, passed away in prison in July 2022. Boucher's life serves as a cautionary tale for other bikers, emphasizing the importance of abiding by the law. And that's a wrap. Subscribe for more interesting content like this.